I'm Turk Strongman and Thuranki Ramachrak. Thank you for selecting this video. My deepest, darkest secret. Coming clean with the world. With you. Before I continue, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, now's your chance, do it now. That way you can also activate the notification bell feature and be apprised of my new uploads. Show the joy of this channel right now too by giving this video a thumb up, lest you forget to do it later. Do it now. Coming clean. Alright, recently I've been making videos upon the suggestion that I do so about my life experiences, still in the context of how they may help you. This one of my life experiences, that for sure. I don't know how it's going to help you. But I think it's fair that you know about what I'm going to say. After I make this video, you may never want to look at another of my videos. You may unsubscribe. I don't want those things to happen. I just need to say it to you. Please don't leave nasty comments. Please, just don't. That's all. This is really hard for me to do. I'm going to tell you the truth. And it's really hard. But here I go. Oh, back around the year 99, something like that. I have been going for about a year with terrible sleep disorder. I still have a sleep disorder. Nothing like it was in the first place. About a year of... Eventually, I didn't even know if I ever slept. I couldn't tell. I was having nightmares while I was awake. And if I slept, it was the same thing. It was as though I was awake, but it was horrifying. I would go to work. I worked for a phone company in Phoenix, Arizona. The phone company covered 14 states, western states. I was in small business customer quality assurance. Small business was any business with 40 lines or less. And I would do outbound calls to businesses who had new service or recent changes to their service. I would check up to see if it's working right. Most of the time, there were glitches, things not working right. And it was my job to get it all sorted out. More than once, I walked straight out of the place. I was on the 24th or 25th floor. I'd just get up and leave. I would be acting the same as if it was a dream. I didn't know the difference. I would get outside, walking down the street, and think to myself, wait a minute. Maybe this isn't a dream. Maybe I'm actually awake. I better get back to work. My supervisors never said anything. They knew I had some difficulties. It was bad. I would have nightmares within nightmares within nightmares, up to 6 layers deep. Wake up, but still asleep. And then within that one, wake up. I would dream that medical people would come into my apartment and I'd be laying in bed, unable to sleep. And they would open up my head, do surgery on my brain. And then I would wake up from that and hear a knock at the door, go to the door, and medical people would come in and start doing surgery on my head, my brain. And then wake up from that within, it was, folks, it was awful. Awful. I had just graduated about a year before from the University of California at Berkeley. Got honors in the Department of Philosophy. It was just after that graduation that the sleep disorder started. I was so confused, my brain was so jumbled, I was so far into sleep deprivation, the hallucinations were just awful. My whole mental state had just, it fell apart. All that I could do anymore was my job and engage in an argument, a logical argument, like I was taught to do at Berkeley, and win. That's it. That's all I could do. One day, I got a note passed to me from the cubicle next to mine with a phone number on it. This person next to me said, the person in the cubicle next to me gave this to me. I'm giving it to you. You call it. It's really weird. One of our co-workers, there were about 40 of us, had this number. It was a new business, a new account, and it showed up in the queue list to call. We each did about 100 calls a day, and it was really weird. So the number's being passed around here. Call it up. It's really weird. I called it. It was just an outgoing message. That's it. Just an outgoing message. It was some business in Denver, Colorado. No name. No, I didn't know who it was or anything. I called and it was just an outgoing message. The message was, you have reached the Family Affairs Hotline. Your source for unusual video material. If you are interested in young girls, press 1. If you are interested in young boys, press 2. If you are interested in sex with animals, press 3. I forget the 4th choice. I hung up. I didn't pass the number on. For some reason, I put it in my pocket. When I got home, emptied out my pockets. See this number. I just threw it on my desk. Forgot about it for a couple of months. Then I saw the number again. I called it. I'd never heard of anything like this. Now, this was before the internet was popular, guys. I didn't have a computer at all yet. I didn't have email. I didn't have internet. I didn't even know anything about how to use the internet. It was new, really. Actually, yeah, it was probably a couple years earlier than what I said. I called the number. I got curious. I pressed number 1. It was the first choice. Happened to be Young Girls. Well, it went to the Young Girls line and started jabbering about videos and leave your name, whatever. I did. Stated my phone number. I'll say, call me back. I didn't get any call. A couple of weeks passed. I thought about this, and I thought, oh, wait a second. Whoever these people are, they're real creeps. Whatever they're into, they're creeps. Now, I did not know that there was anything illegal going on. I was not genuinely interested in this. I was curious, but I did not like the fact that I didn't get a call back. Well, I tried again. Repeated this. Same thing. Still didn't get a call back. And I thought to myself, I'm not going to lose this. I'm not. I went into argument mode. I was going to win. I was going to make them call me back. I felt offended. I persisted. I finally got a call back. I placed an order for a cheap video involving young girls. A couple of months passed. Nothing. I forgot about it. Finally. I just, I had done the best I could. Whatever. And I got a knock on my door one day. Opened the door. The guy standing there got a little package for me. He said, it's a special delivery, postal delivery. Just sign here. I signed. I took it. I didn't know what it was. I closed the door and then I thought, oh shit. This feels like a video cassette. I opened it. It was about time for me to go to work. I stuck it in my VCR. It started to play. Yeah, that's what it was. It was this thing I ordered. But there was nothing really to see because every time there was, it was all blurred out. It was about 30 seconds, a minute into this thing. I was about to shut it off. Disgusted over the whole affair. And there was a louder knock on the door. I opened it. I was looking down the barrel of about 5 shotguns, rifles, and about 5 more handguns just pointed right at me. And they started shouting. Put me in cuffs, shoved me in, and about instantly my place was full of federal agents. About 3 hours passed. They destroyed everything I had. Everything I had. Things that could be cut open, turned inside out. They were everything. Photographs I had of family torn up. Everything was searched. And I was interrogated the entire time by 2 postal inspectors. Then they left. I didn't know what was going to happen. I called a couple of lawyers. Called a lot of lawyers. As soon as I said what happened, most of them just hung up. Just hung up on me. Finally, there was one. Neil Bassett. He said, "Oh my God, this isn't good. Yes, you're in trouble. Yes, you are in trouble." I said, "Well, what are they going to do?" And he said, "I'll tell you what they want to do. They want to ruin your life. You were in a sting. And then they want to ruin your life now. And yeah, you need a lawyer. And it's going to be hard to find one, but I'll take your case. I'll take it. It's going to take a lot of work." I kept his number, kept his name. My dad also lived in Phoenix. He knew what happened. He was kind of convinced me, "Hey, you didn't do anything wrong." You see, by then I had the idea that making such stuff, producing such videos, etc., was criminal. Until Neil Bassett told me about what was really going on, I still didn't think that if I had something like that, that I ordered, I didn't know that the possession of such a thing was a crime. I had never had any involvement in such a thing. I never heard of it. One day, another knock at the door, and I was taken away. I was taken away. Federal, because of the mail. The nightmare began. Got a hold of my father, told him about Neil Bassett's phone number. He said, "They're going to let you go." I said, "Dad, call Neil Bassett." He didn't. I want to tell you something. When I got in the holding tank under the guard of the U.S. Marshal Service, a skinhead was in there. He said, "What are you in for?" I still didn't know the gravity of the situation that I was in. So I told him. I figured anybody would understand the error. You see, my brain was not functioning right. All I knew to do was win an argument. I still wasn't even able to tell if I was awake or asleep. I thought anybody would understand that. I told this guy what happened. Big mistake. I was taken to jail. Way out in the desert. I stayed there for a year. The skinhead ended up there too. He spread the word around. Federal court, my friends, is no joke. It's scary. Took me a year to get convicted. while I was being held in that jail, let me tell you. About problems sleeping, panic attacks, fear, dread. The Aryan Brotherhood was big there. So was the Mexican Mafia. My life was threatened 24/7. People were talking about what I had done, hurting kids. I had done an abominable thing. They wouldn't listen to me. They were convinced that I was a child molester, probably a child killer. They were out to kill me. It was awful. Eventually, I had become familiar enough with pre-sentencing investigation reports as a federal thing. It's a PSI, has all the details of your charges and everything. I learned how they were worded, how they were written. Out of sight from my cellmate, whenever I could, I wrote one. I don't know, man, it was about 8 pages long or more. I had gone to the law library a few times and I looked up. Well, I found out that if I had received in the mail 100 hits of LSD, I would be given the same sentence that I was facing. I designed this whole pre-sentencing investigation report about that. I made up names. I got very detailed. I wrote it perfectly. Got my lawyer to come. I gave it to him. I said, I need you to type this up perfectly. A federal pre-sentencing investigation report. This one that I wrote. And I need you to force the district attorney is Sharon Nowitzki, her name. He was very reluctant. A couple of months passed. Didn't hear from him. Finally, I got a lawyer visit. He had done it. He signed her name to it, but he got her permission. He told her what was going on. She said, all right, do it. I took it back to my cell. Half hour later, I got a new cellmate. He was a lieutenant. Aryan Brotherhood. First thing he said to me, I want to see your PSI. I got out to one my lawyer had just given me. He read it carefully. When he was done, gave it back to him and he said, seems legit to me. I heard something different about you. And I requested to be your cellmate. I came in here today to kill you. With the pencil all the way in your ear. it would have been done by now, except for I read this. All right. We were cellmates for a while. Got along fine. I finally got convicted. "21 months was my sentence. That's it. I had, on good behavior, I would get 15% off. That would be 18 months in total. I spent that last 6 months in a federal prison in Oklahoma. Meanwhile, I spent about 3 months while I was still in Arizona. I went to Texarkana, Texas, Federal Medical Center for Prisoners, or psych evaluations. Scary place. Scary place. There were still psychiatrists there who had been there years ago when they used to do experimental brain surgery on criminals. Things like lobotomies and so forth. I was scared to death. A psychiatrist's report, after it was all done, and I got back to federal court, back in Arizona in the jail. The concluding remarks, the diagnosis was nothing wrong with this guy. Maybe a little antisocial, but with his IQ, that's to be expected under these conditions. The attorney said, well, they just didn't do the right tests. Disregard the report. So yeah, I finished off in Oklahoma. As far as anybody knew there in federal prison, I was there for the LSD thing. It was pretty much a cakewalk. When I got out, I had 3 years of what they call supervised release. Wherever I lived in Phoenix, the local police would put notices up all over the neighborhood where I lived, on everybody's door. My picture, my address, my crime. People wanted to kill me everywhere I went. I had to move many times if I could even get in anywhere to live. And I had to go every week for those 3 years to sex crime therapy, group sessions, be about 12 of us. Most of them were child rapists. I was thrown in with them, and there was a program to follow. A big workbook this psychologist had created about this thing. It was all designed for people who had raped children or killed them. I couldn't comply with it. I had done no such things. There were many things to have to write, questions to answer, and so forth. You know? I couldn't complete all the assignments because they weren't targeted at me. I was almost sent back to prison. I was given lie detector tests. Here's a funny thing about that. On the very first one to establish baselines, I lied over just some general things. I passed the test. After that, every 6 months I was given one. I'd be asked questions like, since the last lie detector test, have you had any contact at all with children? Meaning anybody under 18. Well, yeah. Did you have sexual thoughts about them? Now here, honestly, after all this, why wouldn't I have? This was beat into me. After all that, how could I not? I'd say yeah. Then I'd have to explain them. On and on this would go. Every lie detector test I had, I told all the truth. And I failed every one of them. If it had been the case that in Arizona lie detector tests were admissible in court, I would have been sent back to prison right away. This was awful. Finally, it was over. Then I was put on the sex offender registration list website. I moved to upstate New York. I was put on it there. I moved to Pennsylvania. I was put on it there. Every time during the next 10 years that it was supposed to be my last year, it was extended. On my very last year, 2 weeks after I was finished, there was a new law that said if you are on a sex offender registration list, now you're on it for life. During that sex offender registration list period, my house got broken into when I wasn't there. Searched. People came to my job where I was in security at a local bar. Got the best job I could get. Looking for me. Wanted to kill me. Fortunately, whenever that happened, it was not my shift. Then it was over. No more registration. Yeah, it ruined my life. And then it was over. Eventually, people forgot about it. Eventually, I kind of forgot about it. I've only told people who need to know. Fortunately, I no longer have to work. I'm retired. Besides, I'm on disability. By now, I don't give a damn. Who knows? It's nobody's business, but if somebody happens to know or say something like, "Are you the guy?" But that doesn't happen. But if they did, I'd say, yeah. What about it? I did my damn time. Back off. Back the hell off. What's wrong with you? What the hell's wrong with you? Alright. Yeah, it's over. And now I'm telling you guys, because I think it's only fair. You're trusting me here on this channel. Now what do you think? Still trust me? Everything on my channel is real. It's the real shit. So's this story. I'll tell you what I think of it all now. First time I've made any public statement about that entire affair. I think the entire thing, people were calling me an animal. That entire thing was run by animals. Animals. I'm not happy about the memory of it, and I'm not pleased with the way our justice system worked about it. Yeah. Anybody who says children are precious, I agree. Anybody who says if you hurt children, it's terrible, I agree. I didn't hurt anybody. I never would. The people who set up that sting and wouldn't listen to me, the people who wanted to kill me, everybody involved, a fucking animal. That's what I think of it all. A fucking animal. That's my opinion of it. That whole thing that happened didn't help anybody at all. Nothing. Nobody. It did no damn good. So what can I make out of this for you? Watch your ass, that's all. Live within the law. And ignorance of the law is no excuse. So, I guess my advice to you is stay in your house, stay off your phone, stay off the internet, never go out, hide in a fucking closet. There. Because you never know what kind of animals you're going to run into. They can ruin your life. And get sleep. Get sleep, okay? If you like this video, give it a thumb up. You hated it, you hate me, give it a thumb up anyway. Subscribe, get notified, share the joy of this channel with others. Thank you for selecting this video on my deepest, darkest secret. It's no secret anymore now, is it? I'm Took Strong, and if the wrong, you wrong, but you're out to be well.